Welcome back to Breslov campus. About the greatness of having some connection, even minuscule and mini tiny connection to Rebbe Nachman and his teachings. Rebbe Nachman had a follower, a man who initially was very, very poor, but then he eventually became very, very wealthy thanks to following the advice of Rebbe Nachman. And this man gave a lot of support, financial support, to Rebbe Nachman and to the Breslov movement. Even after Rebbe Nachman's passing, when Rav Noson, who was not the continuation of Rebbe Nachman, but the disciple who maintained to spread Rebbe Nachman's light throughout the world, when funds were needed, this wealthy man initially stood by to help Rav Noson for various projects, for printing projects, for supporting poor and needy families, for building Torah institutions in the name of Rebbe Nachman, where people there daven and learn along the guidelines of Rebbe Nachman's teachings. And this wealthy man, things happened in his life eventually, and he turned into becoming a major opponent to Rebbe Nachman's teachings. He became the extreme 180 degrees opposite of what he initially was. And it reached a point where he declared that he's willing to sell and forfeit his world to come, his reward in the world to come, for all the charity that he gave to Rebbe Nachman and supporting his teachings and his whole movement. When Rav Noson heard the statement that this wealthy man made, Rav Noson said, it won't help. It won't help. Because once a person does anything for Rebbe Nachman, it stays eternally. Even if that person afterwards turns backwards, turns to a different direction, and becomes even against an opposition, the good and the mitzvot that person did for Rebbe Nachman's thing, if you want to call it, is never extinguished. Like the verse says, and Rebbe Nachman brings this himself, Lo yichbe balayla nera. In the darkness, the candle will not be extinguished. This light stays with a person to the very end. What happened with this man? He eventually died a very sudden, unexpected, embarrassing death. And for the funeral service, Rav Noson said like this: I cannot go to the funeral service because of all the suffering and persecution that he did towards me and to the Breslovers, this man. But then again, I cannot not go to his funeral service because all of the tzedakah, the charity and the good deeds that he did towards Rebbe Nachman. So what did Rav Noson do? He made sure to leave the city of Breslov at the time that the levaya, the funeral, was taking place. He left the city of Breslov, so therefore there was no excuse. It wasn't like he wasn't participating. He was there but didn't go, or he did go and didn't refrain from going. He avoided both sides because he said that this man, his good point, the good that he did, can never be extinguished. And this is something to really think and ponder, that you see many types of people that for a time they were very connected to Breslov and Rebbe Nachman's teachings, and then they drifted away, and some even became against, and they're not supportive anymore. But that tzedakah and that good that was done by these people towards Rebbe Nachman's teaching and cause will never be extinguished.